Maine will hit an entertainment milestone this week. Maine humorist Tim Sample, who may be one of our best known personalities, will take the stage for his last performance Thursday at the Booth Bay Opera House.
Tim Sample says it's time to step away from the stage while still pursuing his art and audiobooks and other projects. He has been the leading practitioner of Maine humor and storytelling for more than 3 decades. So 207's Don Kerrigan decided it was time to ask, will Maine humor survive?
Good question, and on a hot night when, as Marshall Dodge told us, the humidity is wicked high. So, you know, most of us love the classic old Maine humor. So we asked Tim Sample and Gary Crocker to get together with us. They have been 2 of the leading performers for a long, long time. And to ask them, why does Maine humor work? And will it indeed last?
And I looked down the hill and it was a bear coming up after me.
It was the Maine humor of Marshall Dodge, co-creator of Bert and I, that inspired both Tim Sample and Gary Crocker to become performers themselves. Tim says he had told Maine jokes while playing in bands and had met Marshall Dodge, and the 2 were at a fundraiser in Portland.
And Alan knew me and had known me for years, and he said, wait a minute, we have Tim Sample and Marshall Dodge here. Why don't you 2 guys get up on stage and do some stuff? We looked at each other, well, I'm here anyway, why not? And I don't know what we did, Don, but it hit like a bomb because we had this chemistry.
Gary Crocker had heard Marshall Dodge's record and went to see him in a show.
And all he did was come in and sit on a stool with a microphone and talk for an hour and a half. And I sat there just mesmerized.
Gary says he went home and told his parents he was going to become a Maine humorist too.
And they said, what the heck are you talking about? I said, boy, it just made people feel good.
You have not been down on Route 1 lately. You can sell anything on Route 1.
And he has. Gary worked a day job for the community college and told stories on the side.
My next door neighbor.
Tim has made it a full-time career, and both say those Bert and I stories connected them to old-time stories they had heard as kids.
The theme of my life now, and has been for some time, is kindness. And I think kindness flows from most of Maine humor. It's not ugly, it's not angry.
Exactly.
It's friendly and it's kind.
And what Gary just mentioned, I'll reiterate that. I agree completely. There's the message of Down East humor, if there is one overarching perspective that tends to infuse the whole storytelling tradition, it's don't take yourself so seriously. It's all just the way it is. So what I say now, it took me, I was probably in my 30s or 40s before I really put it together.
A lot of those old stories, of course, are based around farmers and fishermen and rural life. A very different Maine from what most of us know today.
In the first Bert and I record, one of the stories that I will probably tell in my last couple of shows is that we found a body in the kelp.
It is a classic, dry, old Maine story.
I think they was low boots. No, they was high boots turned down low. Well, then it twant me. Yeah. You know, but that, you know, it's a funny story about a tragic situation, and those stories allow the community at large to think about and recognize and take in the fact that we're all mortal, that things happen to people.
Can that humor still survive?
Absolutely.
When people don't have a personal identity with it?
Absolutely, and the example I would give is, how long ago did William Shakespeare write A Midsummer Night's Dream? Okay, centuries.
400 plus.
Are there still laugh lines in A Midsummer Night's Dream?
Let me bring Gary in on this. You get a couple words in here edgewise, Gary.
That's hard to do with
no, I don't know if you've ever heard it. I don't know if you ever told it. But I've told it a couple of times. It's our way of gently letting people know how much we love the state of Maine. So this one fella in a very expensive car pulls in, probably a Mercedes or BMW.
And the story takes off from there, the visitor telling a local fisherman how lovely the place is, then bragging about all the places he has seen.
I've been virtually everywhere, I guess you could say. Now I've been here, and it's quite a nice spot. And then he took a deep breath, and he goes to the lobster, and he said, just curious, you travel much? Man does what you do? Lobsterman looked up, and he said, I didn't have to. I was born here. So, point being, you finally found it, mister. So don't you move a damned inch.
Both say the classic old Maine humor will survive.
About 4 miles down the road.
Changed maybe with the times,
Wear it like that.
and maybe not as popular as Marshall Dodge and these two have made it. You guys have basically had 40 years to carry the ball.
Yeah.
Now we'll see who else will carry it.
There's people out there, I just know it. There are people out there who are going to pick it up.
Sure.
Timmy's going to walk away, and I'll eventually drop dead. And when that day comes, there's going to be some kid out there who says, "Geez, I can do that."
Your question relates to another question that's often connected to this. People have said to me for decades, oh, the Maine dialect is dying out. The Maine dialect doesn't exist anymore. I said, you're going to the wrong places. You're not, go to Tall Barney's restaurant in Jonesport, go to the Co-op in Booth Bay Harbor at 6 o'clock in the morning.
But storytelling, these guys agree, will always be part of Maine. You had heard some stories like this. A lot of fun talking to them, and they do point out that there are people out there, other performers, Bob Marley to name one, and some others, who are carrying the ball forward and will continue to. So that was one of the toughest stories I've had to write for a while. The interview went way over an hour with those two guys, and to cut down to the short length, relatively short, that we need for this was tough. We've got the whole interview, which is so much fun, on our New Center Maine Plus channel and online for people to listen to.
It's really fun to see them interact with each other and
Yeah.
share these stories because their spirit just shines through. And I will say something about Maine humor. Growing up here, being from here, there's something so comforting about it because it's so simple, but it feels like home. Like it works.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, the classic Maine story is where the local gets the best of the guy from away, like in that one he told, right?
Yeah. We're going to miss Tim, though. We're going to miss Tim's performing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, he bridged. He took the old traditional stuff that Marshall Dodge and Bob Bryan and some others did, and he kind of took that sensibility, if you will,
Yes.
and took it into a whole wider range of storytelling that's been remarkable.
Yeah. And it's not a eulogy. He's still going to be around, just not doing the live
Right,
performances.
right.
All
So
right.
maybe we'll entice him to come back.
Thanks, Don.